Sometime now I have been practicing ear training quite a lot. Mostly at the piano, just playing a chord and trying to sing out the notes and identify them. I have also been practicing with apps for the phone, but the problem I have with them is that I need to interact with the phone, so that's not something that it's advisable when I'm driving or whatever. So I wanted to find some MP3s that would help me do this while I was in the car or running or whatever. So I decided to make a script for Reaper, profiting of Reaper functionalities. And this is what I have come up with. So first of all, in my web page, you have the script for download, and I will be posting some mp3s for those of you that just don't want to bother installing the script or running it. So you will have several more. I'll try to add some more as time goes by. Now, when you click on the Reaper script, it will jump into the GitHub area where the script is stored. In here you have a detailed, I think, explanation of what the script does. Special thanks need to be offered to Lucasena for his GUI that I'm using. So that's the core and the classes here. Those all belong to his GUI library. My script is BCA create random harmonic chords with melodic resolution. So what this does is, well, let me show you. It creates a number of mp3s. You will be creating a number of mp3s. Okay, that are a little bit like this. Let me show you. So a chord, in this case a two-note chord that repeats for a number of times, and then it will play the notes melodically from lowest to highest, and finally the chord again. Okay, so this is what we will be creating with the script. Actually, we will be creating the MIDI items, and you will use Reaper to render them. Okay, so let's close this, and I'll show you how to install it. So from the script, to just download it, you will be downloading a folder. Okay, then you need to place that folder from within Reaper. You can go into options, so Reaper resource path. Okay, now this is not how I like to see this. This is better. And in here, you will place them within the scripts folder. So here I have placed it, and this is the script that you will be wanting to load. So once you have placed the scripts in here, the script folder in here, from Reaper, the first time you call actions, you will need to load it. So you just click load, you search for this folder and select the script. In my case, it's already loaded, so I won't load it again. Once it has been done, if you type BCA, you should be able to locate it and run it. Okay, now I'll run it. It will open this window. I'm going to close this. First thing we need to do is create a track. So we will create a track. I'll just name it ear training set 1, for example. One thing you will be needing to do is add your instrument. So whatever instrument you want, or maybe you want to send it by MIDI through to an external instrument, or that's up to you. Once your instrument is set, you will be able to play the chords, the MIDI chords that you will be creating with this tool. Okay, so how does the tool work? First thing is the number of notes that you want the chord to contain. So let's start by creating one note chords, if we can call them that. Then you would select from what range of notes you want them to pick the random notes that it's going to be doing. Just for a little bit of a reference, so that you know, C3's MIDI note 48 and C5 it would be 72. So that will pick all random notes from C3 to C5. Now I would select how long do I want the notes playing. So given that it's just a one note thing, I'll just leave it low. The melodic resolution for one note, I'll just leave it at the same as the chord time. As I would be choosing a piano instrument, I won't be placing a silence in between each repetition. If you are trying to train your ear with your own instrument and you're playing, let's say, a violin or something like that, these kind of sounds don't decay within time, so you probably will want to set up a silence in between each repetition of the chords so that you get a clear attack each time. But that's up to you. So if you were going to put a silence, you pick here for how long. A very short thing will do. All times here are set in tenths of a second. Okay, so here 15 means 1.5 seconds. And then how many repeats? As I'm doing now, the one repeat will be enough, so it will do one time the chord, one time the resolution, and once again the chord. As it's one note, it will be just 3 times the same note. Does it like this. It automatically puts the transport further down so that I can go on creating different notes, and in this way each time a new note is created. Now you can see in the item naming I put first how many notes there are. It's a one note chord that it's covering 2 octaves, and in this case the note is a D. Now let's create a 2 chord test. Let's leave the same range. As it's 2 chords, I'm going to leave it a little bit longer, let's say 3 seconds. For the melodic resolution, I'll just leave the same, and I don't want a silence in between this time. So let's go ahead with this. Just 1 repetition. No, I'll go for 2 repetitions of the chord. There we go. So if I go back a little bit, okay, for example here, this item, there you go. So it's once, twice, so 2 repeats, then the chord resolution, and finally the chord again. Okay, so you can just go on like this. Okay, so basically this is all the script needs to do, because the rest is done by Reaper. Okay, now let's zoom out so that you can see all the items here. Okay, now here are all the items. Normally you will be creating many more than this. Once you have all your items and you have your effects for the instrument sound, you will be wanting to render them. So you will be needing to select all items. You go to File, Render, and what you need to do is click Selected Media Items, then directory wherever you want. Let's say I want to do it in the desktop, but rather than here I'll create a folder called Ear Training. Now for file name, it's important that I use the item so that it names all the files in the correct way, so that I can identify them later on, and so that they show in the display of my car when it's playing those sounds. Okay, now with regards to the output format, it's entirely up to you. I prefer to go with something that uses up less memory, so I go for mp3, and then 96 is more than enough for this kind of use. And then you would just click render the 16 files. Actually you should save the presets before, okay, and that will help you come back here again and just do this so much faster. Anyway, so I hope that this has been helpful to you, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.